Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are checking out Show covered by Unnamed. Now, I'm very excited to get into this. As you all know, I'm a huge fan of Unnamed's voice, Unnamed's covers, Unnamed's music, and I was a big fan of Otto's Show. I really liked that song, and I'm very excited to see Unnamed cover it. So let's just jump right on into things in 3, 2, 1, play. That's a lot of effect on the voice there. Okay. We're having a lot of vocal effects. Okay, there we go. Ooh, okay. I very distinctly remember that line from Otto's. Otto kept that as one single line. Here it seems Unnamed splitting that up into multiple separate little vocal interjections, really. Alright. Okay. I liked that. Alright, we're riding on the guitar. Went into synth. Okay. Ooh, okay. Okay, already I want to say some things. I am a huge fan of that guitar and synth interaction, but I don't like the vocal effects. I don't like the usage of vocal effects so far. I'm hoping we're going to get a little more clean, but Unnamed has probably one of my favorite voices of like any singer, really. And having that suppression and that of like digital effect on the voice, like pushing it down, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like the vocal effects. But I do really like what Unname's doing with their voice. I do really like, when we can get that breathiness, get that rasp, and we can like hear when it goes more nasally, more abdominal. That's very fun. But I wish I could hear more of that past the suppression, past the vocal effects, because those vocal effects, they make good juxtapositions, right? They make good comparison moments. So when you're about to have this big belt that's super clean and impactful, then it's okay to, interject with that vocal effect to hype that up, to make that big belt feel more impactful and more eventful. But when you just have that vocal effect there the whole time, it feels very drab. It feels very like a slog almost. It's like you're trying to run in water, you know what I mean? But I do like what they're doing with their voice. Nice. Nice. See, we got very clean there. I really liked how clean we got there, and especially, it also helps when you have that more treble-based vocal layering, because then it makes it feel more acoustic and more like interactive. But even then, without having that vocal layering, just the mix on that vocal track there was solid. I really enjoyed just that last part right there. Like, you can hear so much of their voice through the mix there. Nice. Okay. Okay. Going way down low. A lot of vocal layering. Okay, interesting. So we're using the synth there. We're using synth distortion to layer with the vocal, like a very nasally, screechy, that sharp, shrill demeanor in the vocals. We're matching that with that squeaky synth, which is not a bad idea. I kind of like how that was implemented there. Okay. Ooh, I really like how we pulled out of the bass synth there, went into acoustic percussive and dipped back down into the bass atmosphere. That was a very clean transition. Nice. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like the breathiness in there. I like this part. Nice, getting more reverb in there. Ooh, nice growl. Okay, all right. Nice. Good run there. Nice. Ooh, nice. We're getting like those ad-libs in there. I do, if I remember correctly, I believe the big, like that treble spike, that big kind of constriction of the throat shooting up high. If I remember correctly, that would have been on the previous belt in the original. I could be wrong about that, but I believe the previous belt is where we shot up high, and then for that shout, that was when we normally would have added in more growl and went down low. So if I'm correct about that, my memory could be failing me there, but I do believe that it was flipped in the original. And I kind of like this Unnamed. I kind of liked Unnamed's cover, this version of it, a little more, because having that big constriction, that big shut up high, it feels more in tune with not only the ad-libbing coming afterwards, but just that climatic spike at the end. So I do like that switch up, if that is a switch up. I could be wrong about that, but if that was changed for this cover, I'm a big fan of that change. Nice. All right. That was Unnamed's cover of Show by Otto. Wow. That was a lot. So overall, I'm a big fan of that. But I do have some little nitpicks, which I usually don't have with Unnamed's covers. Usually, Unnamed to me is kind of like the gold standard of a VTuber cover, but or it's just like a cover in general. Really, I always consider like Unnamed to be kind of the gold standard, along with Otto. But I will say there were some mixed choices here that I'm personally wasn't a big fan of, but I don't think are necessarily like a wrong choice or a bad choice. I just think, for me personally, I tend to gravitate more towards those acoustic interpretations of songs, which is why having this already very synth-heavy song emphasize those synthetic elements and also the vocal effects. That kind of kept me away from it a little bit. But I will say, I mean, the song itself is already very synth heavy, so it makes sense to, especially if you're going to try to emphasize and dramatize it, it makes sense to go in more on the synth. But I will say, you know, personally, I don't think the vocal effects were necessary. And it wasn't like it was overly harsh, you know, it wasn't like a crazy amount of vocal effects, or we're having these like awful megaphone effects. So I will say at the beginning that that effect was kind of a little dissonant, to say the least. But for the most part, you know, I think I'm a very big fan of how this was covered. I do think, you know, if I was mixing it, I would lay back a little bit on how much effect was on the vocals, but overall, I mean, it was still an amazing cover from Unnamed and just an awesome showing of what they can do with their voice. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for recommending this. And as always, feel free to recommend more things for me to check out in the comments below. Aside from that, I will see you all next time. Thank you so much.